Welcome back. Today's book is Stella Luna by Janell Cannon. In a warm, sultry forest far, far away, there once lived a mother fruit bat and her new baby. Oh, how Mother Fruit Bat loved her soft, tiny baby. I will name you Stella Luna, she crooned. Each night, Mother Bat would carry Stella Luna clutched to her breast as she flew out to search for food. One night, as Mother Bat followed the heavy scent of ripe fruit, an owl spied her. On silent wings, the powerful bird swooped down upon the bats. Dodging and shrieking, Mother Bat tried to escape, but the owl struck again and again, knocking Stella Luna into the air. Her baby wings were as limp and useless as wet paper. Down, down she went, faster and faster, into the forest below. The dark leafy tangle of branches caught Stella Luna as she fell. One twig was small enough for Stella Luna's tiny feet. Wrapping her wings about her, she clutched the thin branch, trembling with cold and fear. "Mother," Stella Luna squeaked, "where are you?" By daybreak, the baby bat could hold on no longer. Down, down again she dropped. Flump! Stella Luna landed headfirst in a soft, downy nest, startling the 3 baby birds who lived there. Stella Luna quickly clambered from the nest and hung out of sight below it. She listened to the babble of the 3 birds. "What was that?" cried Flap. "I don't know, but it's hanging by its feet," chirped Flitter. "Shh! Here comes Mama," hissed Pip. Many, many times that day, Mama Bird flew away, always returning with food for her babies. Stella Luna was terribly hungry, but not for the crawly things Mama Bird brought. Finally, though, the little bat could bear it no longer. She climbed into the nest, closed her eyes, and opened her mouth. Plop! In dropped a big green grasshopper. Stella Luna learned to be like the birds. She stayed awake all day and slept at night. She ate bugs even though they tasted awful. Her bat ways were quickly disappearing, except for one thing. Stella Luna still liked to sleep hanging by her feet. Once when Mama was away, the curious baby birds decided to try it too. When Mama Bird came home, she saw 8 tiny feet gripping the edge of the nest. "Eek!" she cried. "Get back up here this instant. You're going to fall and break your necks." The birds clambered back into the nest, but Mama Bird stopped Stella Luna. "You are teaching my children to do bad things. I will not let you back into this nest unless you promise to obey all the rules of this house." Stella Luna promised. She ate bugs without making faces. She slept in the nest at night, and she didn't hang by her feet. Stella Luna behaved as a good bird should. All the babies grew quickly. Soon the nest became crowded. Mama Bird told them it was time to learn to fly. One by one, Pip, Flitter, and Flap, and Stella Luna dropped from the nest. Their wings worked. "I'm just like them," thought Stella Luna. "I can fly too." Pip, Flitter, and Flap landed gracefully on a branch. Stella Luna tried to do the same. How embarrassing! I will fly all day, Stellaluna told herself. Then no one will see how clumsy I am. The next day, Pip, Flitter, and Flap and Stellaluna went flying far from home. They flew for hours, exercising their new wings. The sun is setting, warned Flitter. We had better go home or we'll get lost in the dark, said Flap. But Stellaluna had flown far ahead and was nowhere to be seen. The three anxious birds went home without her. All alone, Stellaluna flew and flew until her wings ached and she dropped into a tree. I promised not to hang by my feet, Stellaluna sighed, so she hung by her thumbs and soon fell asleep. She didn't hear the soft sound of wings coming near her. Hey, a loud voice said, why are you hanging upside down? Stellaluna's eyes opened wide. She saw a most peculiar face. I'm not upside down, you are, Stellaluna said. Ah, but you're a bat. Bats hang by their feet. You are hanging by your thumbs, so that makes you upside down. That makes me right side up. Stellaluna was confused. Mama Bird told me I was upside down. She said I was wrong. Wrong for a bird, maybe, but not for a bat. More bats gathered around to see the strange young bat who behaved like a bird. Stellaluna told them her story. You ate bugs, stammered one. You slept at night, gasped another. How very strange, they all murmured. Wait, let me look at this child. A bat pushed through the crowd. An owl attacked you, she asked. Sniffing Stellaluna's fur, she whispered, You are Stellaluna. You are my baby. You escaped the owl, cried Stellaluna. You survived? Yes, said Mother Bat as she wrapped her wings around Stellaluna. Come with me and I'll show you where to find the most delicious fruit. You'll never have to eat another bug as long as you live. But it's night time, Stellaluna squeaked. We can't fly in the dark or we'll crash into trees. We're bats, said Mother Bat. We can see in the darkness. Come with us. Stellaluna was afraid, but she let go of the tree and dropped into the deep blue sky. Stellaluna could see. She felt as though the rays of light shone from her eyes. She was able to see everything in her path. Soon the bats found a mango tree, and Stellaluna ate as much of the fruit as she could hold. I'll never eat another bug as long as I live, cheered Stellaluna as she stuffed herself full. I must tell Pip, Flitter, and Flap. The next day, Stellaluna went to visit the birds. Come with me and meet my bat family, said Stellaluna. Okay, let's go, agreed Pip. They hang by their feet and they fly at night and they eat the best food in the whole world, Stellaluna explained to the birds on the way. As the birds flew among the bats, Flap said, I feel upside down here. So the birds hung by their feet. Wait until dark, Stellaluna said excitedly. We will fly at night. When night came, Stellaluna flew away. Pip, Flitter, and Flap leapt from the tree to follow her. I can't see a thing, yelled Pip. Neither can I, howled Flitter. Ah, shrieked Flap. They're going to crash. gasped Stellaluna. I must rescue them. Stellaluna swooped about, grabbing her friends in the air. She lifted them to a tree, and the birds grasped a branch. Stellaluna hung from the limb above them. We're safe, said Stellaluna. Then she sighed. I wish you could see in the dark, too. We wish you could land on your feet, Flitter replied. Pip and Flap nodded. They perched in silence for a long time. How can we be so different and feel so much alike? Mused Flitter. And how can we feel so different and be so much alike? Wondered Pip. I think this is quite a mystery, Flap chirped. I agree, said Stellaluna, but we're friends, and that's a fact. So, Stellaluna is a fruit bat. There are different kinds of bats in the world, and Stellaluna is a fruit bat. This is a book about friendship. At first, the bats and the birds thought that they could only be friends with bats or with birds, bats with bats, birds with birds, but that's not true. They found out that they are different in many ways, bats and birds, but they are the same in many ways. And that's how friends can be. You can be friends with people who are very different than you and very the same as you. And you can find ways that you're the same and ways that you're different, and that's okay. Because friendships last those kinds of things. And we can learn so many things from each other when we're friends with people who are different than us. It's an important thing to know. Now, this book is fiction. This is not a true story. We're going to read a nonfiction book about a kind of bats that we have near where we live, or I live, in Tennessee. We have gray bats. Gray bats are not fruit bats. They eat insects. That's what they want to eat. So this book is nonfiction. We are going to discuss the parts of a book. This is the front cover, and this is the back cover. It protects the body of the book. The body is the main part, the story part of the book. This is the spine. It is much like you. You can feel your back and feel your spine. It holds your ribs together. The spine of the book holds the book together. That's why we treat books with respect. We don't turn them all the way open. We treat them carefully with respect. This book is called Gray Bat by Theodorou. It's part of the Animals Endangered series. And there's other books in that series listed on the back, so you can look them up. This is a table of contents. It tells us where we can find the different topics in the book. And it's ordered by page number, numerically, from page 4 all the way down to page 32. So if we wanted to find out unusual gray bat facts, we could look it up and know that it's page 18. In the back of the book, we find a glossary, and a glossary is like a dictionary. If you are reading a book and you find a word you don't know what it means, if there's a glossary in the back, you can look up what it means. Here's the word echolocation. What does that word mean? Let's find out. Echolocation, finding things by sending out a sound and listening for that noise to bounce back, or the echo. That is echolocation. The glossary told us what that word meant. On this other page, we have an index. An index is alphabetical, so it's not by number, it's not numerical, it's alphabetical. So if you see something in the book and you want to know, okay, where was that again? Where was that apart? Maybe let's look up where would we find hibernation. So let's find hibernation. It's alphabetical. Oh, there's hibernation on page 11. So let's go see. Page 11. Look, here's page 11. In the winter, gray bats leave their summer caves and migrate. They find small, deep caves where they hibernate all winter in safety. So that's where we found hibernate. So we're going to read this bat book, probably not the whole thing, but most of it. This is a nonfiction book about gray bats. All over the world, more than 25,000 animal species are in danger. Some of them are in danger because their homes are being destroyed. Many are in danger because people hunt them. This book is about gray bats and why they are endangered. Unless people protect them, gray bats will become extinct. We will only be able to find out about them from books like this. So this is a gray bat. Gray bats are mammals. Bats are the only mammals that can fly. Their wings are like your hands. They are made from thin skin that grows between the bat's long fingers. There are over 900 different kinds of bats, and many of them are in danger of becoming extinct. Half of all the kinds of bats that live in America are endangered. What do gray bats look like? Gray bats are medium-sized bats. They have tiny eyes and cannot see very well. They find their way in the dark using echolocation, and we know what that means because we looked it up. Gray bats have toe claws that act like hooks. This helps them to hang upside down from the ceilings of caves, where they are safe from predators. Where do gray bats live? Gray bats live in the United States of America. In the summer, they live in caves that are close to rivers or reservoirs. They have to live near water because that is where they feed. In the winter, gray bats leave their summer caves and migrate. They find small, deep caves where they hibernate all winter long in safety. And see, I live right here in Tennessee. And those who go to my school live in either Tennessee or Georgia. What do gray bats eat? Gray bats are insectivores. They eat the insects that gather over water at dusk and night. They hunt mosquitoes, moths, and especially mayflies. Gray bats find their prey using echolocation. There's that word again. The bat catches the insect in a flap of its wing and then snaps it up to his mouth. Gray bats are very helpful to people because they eat a lot of mosquitoes and other biting insects. When gray bat females are 2 years old, they are ready to have babies. Each female has a single blind baby. When the females have their babies, they fly off and stay in a different cave with other mother bats. These are called nursery caves. The male bats all stay in the bachelor cave. Caring for babies. These are bent-wing bats. Like them, gray bats' mothers feed their babies milk. The babies cling to their mothers. They cannot fly, so they need to be close to their mothers to stay warm. After about 4 weeks, the babies make their first flight. They stay close to their mothers for another month until they are good at flying and hunting their prey. Unusual gray bat facts. We looked that up too. Gray bats help us because they eat a huge amount of flying insects. A single bat can eat 600 mosquitoes in 1 hour. Gray bat colonies eat billions of flying insects every week. At dusk, gray bats leave their caves and fly through the trees to the water to feed. The path they take is called their travel corridor. If a travel corridor is cut down, the bat colony may die. How many gray bats are there? Once the gray bat was one of the most common of all American mammals. At dusk, people used to see hundreds of bats flying off to feed. In 1970, there were over 2 million gray bats in America. 6 years later, in 1976, there were just over 1 million bats left. Why is the gray bat in danger? Gray bats have to find special caves to live in, especially in the summer. They have to be near water and where it is not too cold. Almost all the gray bats in America live in just 9 caves. When gray bats are disturbed by people, they sometimes drop their babies on the cave floor and fly away. The babies die from the cold. The entire colony may never return and may die. See, this is a scientist trying to figure out what we can do to help our gray bats. In the 1970s, caving became very popular, and even more bat colonies were disturbed. Travel corridors were also cut down, causing many bats to die. Farmers use special chemicals to kill their insects. If bats eat any of those poison insects, they may be poisoned too. How is the gray bat being helped? The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service owns some of the most important gray bat caves. Other conservation groups are buying more bat caves. These caves are protected by fences, gates, and signs. The good news is that the gray bats living in these caves are healthy and having babies. See, they put a grate in front of the cave so people can't go in there and predators can't go in there, but the bats can fit between, so they're safe. And then here's grayback facts and the other things that we learned about. So, what are some things that you can do to go along with the Gray Bat book and Stella Luna? I made a craft. The kids in my class are getting a packet with googly eyes and things, but I made a gray bat craft. I just got a piece of gray paper and I cut out a bat shape, and then I folded his wings in an accordion fold to make it look more like he was flying, and I put a straw and he can fly. I can run around with him flying. I can pretend he's chasing insects so he can eat his 600 insects in an hour. You could learn about the bats that live in your area. I don't know where you live. Maybe you live somewhere where there's fruit bats, or maybe brown bats. We have brown bats around here too. Something very important. Never touch a bat. If you find a bat, do not touch it. Get a grown-up, because bats can bite. So remember, never touch an animal without permission. Well, that's all for today. Bye-bye.